Hi everyone, we're going to get right to it today. For today's technique video, I decided to share, because we got this new line in I've never seen or had experienced before, called Besties, and I received some in the mail as a gift, and I wanted to share with you guys just, using this, stamping it onto watercolor paper. And using, of course, the Misty tool, because like I said, whenever I have watercolor paper, I always like to use the Misty when I'm stamping figures or anything like that, so I can get a clear, crisp detail on all my, my black lines, and I can stamp it twice and it looks really crisp, and I really like that, especially with the watercoloring. So we're just stamping our girl here. We're going to ink it up. I'm using the VersaFine Onyx Black ink. Stamping it again, and perfect. And so for coloring her in, what I decided to do was to bring out an oldie but goodie, which is our Prima oil pastels. I just really love these. I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit so that way you can see a closer up view of the actual stamped image and while I'm coloring. So we're going to do her skin first. I just got this, I think it's one of the peachy colors in the set. I don't have it out in front of me right now to tell you the exact names, but that's just, what I'm using for the skin tone for today. And we're going to do her arms, legs, and then, of course, her face. And I'm using a water brush, which I highly suggest. If you don't have any, or if you've never used these before, they make it so much easier, especially if you're a crafter, like a card maker, and you just want to be able to grab something real quick and hit it with some water and, color. They work the best because the water is in the brush itself, and so you don't have to worry about getting another cup and some water. When you want to paint like that and you have the time to set it up, then that's great. When you don't, just grab one of these brushes. Alright, so once we got her skin tone colored in, I decided to work on her hair. And for her hair, I want to use two colors. There are two different browns. There was a dark brown, and then I want to say an ochre. No, I didn't use the ochres. I used another, it's almost like a reddish brown. Sepia, I think it is. And what I did first was the second one I put down, and I didn't even put down a whole lot because all I want to do is really grab just some of the color and lay it down as a base. And then that'll allow me to take my darker color and to try to give the hair some texture with that. So that's all I'm doing, is laying down the color. Not trying to be neat. To me, this represents curly hair, so it should be fun and just whimsical. So once I got the base color down the way I want it, I'm just going on top of it with the darker brown. Now, this initial lay down, I didn't use a whole lot of color. I just wanted to make sure that everything was coming out okay, and what I was envisioning is what was happening. So when I saw on the right hand side that it was, I grabbed more of the oil pastel and putting down a little bit darker curls on the left side here. Alright, and then for the dress itself, I decided that I wanted to use a pink and a green. And what I'm going to do, once I get the colors, I'm going to zoom out a little bit just so that way you can see the process of coloring in the dress. And I'm just using a laminated piece of paper. that I always keep on my desk. It's underneath my mat, so that way when I decide, you know, at the spur of the moment that I want to color, I can just pull it out and I have a mat ready to go. And right now we're just doing the green. These are it's shaped like leaves, and even on the front of the packaging they had it colored in the green, you know, for the leaves. And on her dress there's leaves, little leaves and roses, so it's very floral, you know. So I was like, okay, pink and green, that'll be great. So after I did that, I decided that I would start with the pink on her top part of her dress. And I was leaving this a little bit lighter, and then I wanted to go down, and in between these layers that they have set up on the stamp, I wanted to put a darker pink. And then after I laid this down, I was like, well, let me do another pass by, just because I really wanted to get it just a little bit darker. And then around this point I had decided that I would be covering all the pink spots that I do with stickles anyway at the end. So I don't do it now, but eventually I do go back to the pink up at the top of her dress to make it a little bit darker. And we're now grabbing the green again to put that on the top ruffle. And I was like, well, let's do her headband. I'll do that green. And then her shoes, I decided to make those green. And then the bows and the ruffles on the side of the shoes, I'm gonna color in pink as well. So I'm just coloring that in real quick. And then for the bow, I'm going to make sure that after I colored in lightly on the top, I go back in where the inside of the bow is to add more pink to make it deeper, to show shadows, that there's a shadow on the inside. And then I was like, oh, okay, this button, I'm going to make it like the ribbon has been pulled through. So in the center, I am adding the pink. And sorry, I do this all the time, but like something will catch my eye. And I realized there was these little points in between the flowers, the leaves, that weren't colored. So I had to go and put some pink on that real quick. But around the center here on the bow, I decided to put the green. So to me, it's like part of the headband, and then her bow ribbon is pulled through it, if that makes sense. And I had just a little bit of a smudge on the outside of the bow there, and since I'm not going to be fussy cutting it out, I decided just to add a little bit of the browns, kind of like there's hair there, you know, because if it's this curly, there's got to be some hair around there too. So to finish this off, I grabbed the gray color out of the pack, and I'm using it to lay down the ground for where she's standing, trying to get it down smoothly, but then also make it a little bit darker where her heel is kind of off the ground. And that is our coloring for today. And the stamp set itself is super fun. It really is really fun to color. Now on here, what I did was I took a piece of white cardstock. I cut it along, it was 8.5 by 11. So I cut it long ways on the 4 1/4 so I could have a top folding card. And so it wouldn't take so long. I kind of put the card together and added my sentiment, and right now all I'm doing is adding some bling to each side of the sentiment. And I decided to go ahead and get the stickles out. This one is the diamond stickles. I would say this one, Stardust. I can't think of what the other clear one is right now, but there's two of them that I probably grab for the most, and this being one of them, because even though you put down the stickle, you don't lose the color, you know, that you've already put onto the paper. And the key is to try and get it thin. Since some of this is a larger area, you can put your stickles on with a brush. I just didn't have a brush available at the moment, so I'm putting it down obviously with the bottle that I have right here. And what I do is I squeeze out, and if I get a little bit of a clump, then I spread it with the end of the stickle bottle. I don't press any more out until I have it spread, and then if I need more, I use more. And then I'm trying to show you the sparkle there. And that is our card for today. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this Besties card. It was really a lot of fun. And I want to say her name is Flower Petal Bestie. Yeah, Flower Petal Bestie. She's super adorable. So make sure you check her out in the boutique. I'll have a link to her and that album down below. Thank you guys again, and have a great day.